I'm a little bit of a busy student. Obviously I do forensics, but on top of forensics, I also do debate, and it doesn't even stop there. I'm super involved in our school. I'm a part of a student leadership program, and I do swim team and powerlifting, and on top of that, I'm involved in 3 AP classes. My life's a little crazy. So oftentimes, as I'm sitting there rattling down the list, people stop and pause when I say I do powerlifting. They oftentimes really don't know what it is, and today I've decided I'm going to tell you a little bit about what is powerlifting. So that way, next time when I'm sitting there telling you about what do I do, you are able to get the full picture right away. Powerlifting consists of 3 lifts: the deadlift, the squat, and the bench. In a meet, you will have 3 attempts at each lift. And so at the end of the day, you will have completed 9 total lifts. But before we get lifting, you're gonna need a little bit of equipment. First off, you're gonna want flat shoes. The last thing you want is on your lift to get a little bit off balance and lose the lift because you tripped or fell. Because that, Converse are gonna be ideal, or wrestling shoes. Even professional squat shoes are gonna be wonderful for the sport of powerlifting. Additionally, you're gonna be wanting to wear a singlet. A singlet is a tight leotard that is able to hold to your body so that way judges can see your moves accurately and you can be appropriately judged. Additionally, you're going to want a belt. A belt keeps your core nice and tight so that way as you're going down for your squat or deadlift, you are able to keep your chest nice and upright, which helps to facilitate the rest of the lift. Additionally, you're going to want knee sleeves. Knee sleeves give you a little bit of extra bounce on your way up from a deadlift and making sure that from the bottom of the squat, you keep coming right on up. So at this point, you've gathered your materials. Now it's time to learn a little bit about what do each of the individual lifts look like. On a meet day, you'll start with squat. Squat, you'll walk up, you'll wait for the head judge, to say the bar is loaded. There will be 3 judges at any given point on a lift. There will be 1 in front and 2 on the sides. Now, they're going to be awarding you either a white or a red light. Red light meaning that you have missed the lift in some way, whether or not you fell over, you didn't hit the qualifications, or you didn't listen to commands. But a white light means it looks perfect and you are ready to go. So, you hear the judge call the bar is loaded, and you'll walk up making sure that you're nice and tight right underneath the bar and step out. Now, after you stepped out, you're going to want to make sure that your knees are locked tight, and you are then going to make eye contact with the judge as soon as you are ready to lift. At that point, the head judge will lower their arm, saying to squat. At that point, you are going to squat, making sure that your hips are below parallel. That is to say, if you took a marble from the top of your knee, it will roll right back into your hip. After that point, you stand on up, making sure to lock your knees at the top again, and at that point, the head judge will say, rack. You walk the bar on in, and that was the first squat of the day. In a meet, you will have 3 squats to compete. The next lift is the bench, and it's quite possibly the most tedious. So, you again wait for the judge to say the bar is loaded, and you're going to walk up to the bench, and you are going to sit on the bench, underneath the weight, and get a wonderful arch. Now, the reason you want an arch is because the bar only has to come to touch your chest. And so, the higher you get your chest up, the less you have to bring that weight down and push it back up again. So, after getting a wonderfully set chest, you're going to give a little bit of nod so that way your spotter can help you lift the bar up and over. At that point, your arms are going to come right out over your chest, making sure your elbows are locked, and then you are going to hear the judge say start. At that point, the bar is going to come down, it is going to touch your chest, and it will remain motionless upon your chest. Once the judge sees that the bar has stopped moving, they will call press. At that point, you push the weight on up, making sure your elbows are locked once again, and then the judge will say rack. At that point, you can just slam the bar right on back. You've completed your deadlift, or your bench. Again, there will be 2 more of those in a meet. And finally, the easiest of the 3, deadlift. Deadlift is quite simple. Once again, you wait for the bar is loaded call, and at that point, you just walk right up onto the weight. The weight just sits on the floor. You get to set your feet up on however you feel is good. You can set them about hip width apart or quite a bit wider than that. But you're going to go down to the bar, pick it up, and stand up. Now, once you're standing up, you want to again make sure your knees are locked and your chest is up with shoulders rolled back. At that point, the judge will call down and you will finish the lift. Things that might get you disqualified are not listening to commands, not hitting depth, and especially on the deadlift, using your thighs to kind of help you ramp the bar on the way up instead of just using your brute force. According to the Livestrong Foundation, powerlifting does wonders for muscular health as well as bone health, which helps every sort of sport that you choose to compete in. Powerlifting is relatively new. It was only started in the 1950s, and that's coming from the IPF. So that means a lot of people don't really know what it is. But it's so fun, and it allows such a wide variety of people to come together and compete in a sport that honestly is all-inclusive. I do it, huge guys do it, but also we've got really tiny girls on our team. And so this inclusive sport is so important to me. So next time you hear, hey, I do powerlifting, you'll have a little bit of an idea what that actually means.